Well, today is the day. Today is the day where us, I mean, when I say swarm, I mean swarm of near Earth objects, most likely asteroid origins, but it could be of cometary origins as well. They pass by the Earth today. They all make their closest approach. You would think they would all be traveling on the same orbit and the same inclinations and so forth, but these are all. I was so shocked when I started checking lunar orbits. Many, there's a whole family that appear to be a fragment traveling in roughly the same orbits. But when I started cross-referencing these, um, there was vastly different orbits in terms of inclination. Some are coming down steep, some are coming from above, some are coming from below. But they're all doing one thing. They're all passing. They're making their closest approach to Earth on the same day. All 20 something of them. I mean, we're not talking 10, we're talking more than 20 that are whizzing by Earth today, and I'll show you some of those diagrams shortly. Most of these are coming outside, or supposedly coming outside the orbit of the moon. The orbit of the moon being roughly 0.002 AU. And so most of these are coming 0.005. So and that puts these things twice the distance of the moon. But I find it odd that we have things coming down, things coming from above, things that are actually in a almost mimic Earth's orbit. I'll show you one of those. That one's going to hit Earth one day, but it's traveling alongside Earth in almost the exact same orbit, which I find extremely interesting. So there's all kinds of theories as to how we could have so many different objects making crossing almost the same point at the same day. And their orbits take them outside of Earth, sometimes outside to Mars. Some of them don't even get outside of Earth's orbit. But one thing is sure, they all make their closest approach today. So what's going on? Many theories. Some people say extraterrestrials are going to start bombarding us with these objects. But one of them here you see, you want to say it's a Mach-Holtz fragment, but it doesn't. Its orbit doesn't take it out where Mach-Holtz can go. But yet you're talking smaller objects with less momentum, and therefore they're able to be influenced by larger bodies. This object is going to hit Earth one day. You can see its orbit nearly mimics Earth, and it baffles me how an asteroid gets here and then gets in. That's a 2020 SO, and there's a whole family of SOs, but they don't mimic this orbit. They're all slightly different, and so it's amazing. And here's another one, completely different aphelion, completely different inclination than other ones, but guess what? They all pass by Earth, closest approach today. Some of them most of them between 0.005 and zero point 0.1 AU astronomical units. So I mean, how does this happen? What's going on? How can this one with an incredibly steep incline, and it's coming from above and crosses Earth at the same exact point as these other asteroids? So the one thing I think two things that are obvious that we can't forget. We have NEOs every day, and there's more and more and more coming in, and they're swarming our solar system. So to find a bunch of them passing by Earth on a given day, you're going to have a surge that's kind of just an anomaly. Is it related to Comet Mach-Holtz? Well, I don't know. See, Mach-Holtz passed underneath Jupiter, and at the same time this happened, even further south underneath Jupiter, planet X was passing. So this thing passed in between Jupiter and planet X in terms of vertical plane. And so we know Mach-Holtz has been altered. And probably why it fragmented. Additional fragments. So its fragments have already passed by Earth. They share similar orbits, but yet they're separated by weeks in terms of perihelion to Earth. So, I mean, what is going on? And the one thing I just want to point out is where Earth is today in the solar system is a corridor where the helium wind was focused. In the middle of December, we would pass right through the heart of the focusing cone of helium. So Ophiuchus is the apparent radiant point of that helium. Well, so is the comet of the century. The comet, not Mach-Holtz, which comes from Ophiuchus, but McNaught. Comet McNaught, the comet of the century. And just opposite Comet McNaught, mimicking Comet McNaught, but just the mirror opposite, are the Kreutz comets. They're coming from the opposite side of Ophiuchus, and they're coming in underneath the solar system. So this corridor has had major debris, including Comet Ison, come in and over the Earth's position today. And it's been thousands of comets and that have come underneath the sun, not as many coming from Ophiuchus, because if McNaught fragments into 1,000 pieces, then we'll get Kreutz-like comets coming out of Ophiuchus. The reason sun grazers hit the sun, I think we just have to stay with the basics. Sun grazers are all hitting the sun and not making complete and total orbits and back out into space. And for being long period comets, you'd have to wonder what the heck's going on. Well, if Comet McNaught fragmented once upon a time, and as it approached perihelion, it would definitely sling debris out in the direction that the Kreutz family comes from. And I mean, you can draw straight lines with a ruler and match these comet families. So you've had the comet of the century pass over us this time of the month. Every year we go through some type of debris field. We actually go through Geminids also too in December. Some of the brighter stars in the Geminids, the brighter falling stars that you would see in a shower would be coming from Geminids. So, and in Gemini is where we have this brown dwarf currently that has traversed our solar system. So, and our closest approach, get this, our closest approach to the brown dwarf as it passed us was in December or January of 2018, 2019. And so we've had a heck of a lot of debris in December come through here. And these things are small, so they're heavily and easily influenced by the gravity of Earth. But if the Kreutz family was created at the sun, where Mach-Holtz reached perihelion, then that's its really birthplace. It's an original radiant point. That's where it came from. It came from the sun. So when it comes back, it's going to come back like a boomerang to its close point of origin. So then that would put the sun divers into the sun and not around the sun.